Hey, it's Ebony back with another episode of R&B Vibes. And I have someone that it took a long time before we can get started because I had to give her praise. And I actually got to look at my notes real quick because I gave you a wonderful introduction. Hold on. She is the Sugar Honey Iced Tea from the ATL, Jalen Jonesy. Hi. You like that?
I love that. I love that.
Now, tell me this, okay? You are a Southern proud ATL baby. Now, you got to tell me, how was it like growing up in Atlanta, and how does your hometown influence your sound?
Growing up in Atlanta was fun because I only had Black doctors. I only had, Black teachers, and I saw myself in so many places. And I went to Tri-Cities High School, and all of the musicians, anybody who was at Tri-Cities, you felt that they were homegrown and they were Southern. And so it made sense that, the life that I was cultivating as a very young child, like I would end up doing music that's also Southern as well. And, adding a little bit of flares from like Southern hospitality. And my mom's from Detroit, so like adding a little bit of like Detroit singers in my mix as well. I feel like Atlanta has just moved my music in a way where it's authentically Black and authentically Southern, and it's like it feels like it's going to be a new way to introduce Black women into music for me. So yeah, just healing in a Southern way.
Growing up in Atlanta, being an artist, how did you find yourself in Broadway? That's weird to me. Normally I hear artists that go straight to, or I'm going to be on stage, I just want to sing. You went the Broadway direction. How did that happen?
Yeah, so again, I went to Tri-Cities High School, and Tri-Cities, a lot of huge Broadway stars went there. There's a man named Sa, Saquon Sembla, and a plethora more. Kenan Thompson went there. It was a lot of out for you to go either to acting or you to do music theater. And there was this camp that would come through Tri-Cities called Broadway Dreams. And I guess I was in that for a very long time, and Broadway Dreams had this workshop that some Broadway directors and Broadway music directors also were a part of. And so this one time there was this they asked me to sing, and they asked a couple other kids to sing, and then I sang, and the music director, his name is Tom Kitt, he loved it. And but I thought that was it. I didn't think much else of it. But then I went home. Well, I knew that on my way going home, they was like, do you think you could come back and do an audition? So I ended up having to stay in New York for an extra week. Then I did my audition, and then I went home. And then I was like, okay, well, I don't know if anything's really going to happen after that. But literally like 2 days later, a week later, something like that, they called me and said I got the part, and then I had to move to New York for a little bit. I was placed in it because of my school. Like my school has been known for like the music theater shows that they'll put up, or the musicals. They did Dreamgirls, they did The Color Purple. I wanted to go to Tri-Cities because of The Color Purple. I saw that when I was a young girl. But yeah, I mean, my high school really set it up, or set me to get there, basically.
But wait, you moved to New York, but you were like, what, 16 maybe? Going to New York, Is that right?
No.
No. How old were you when you moved?
I moved like I was 18.
Whew, I was like, Mama said, go ahead, follow your dreams. I trust everything.
Negative. My mom would not have that. I probably...
So how was it moving to New York and just seeing, because New York that's a big town. I mean, of course, Atlanta is big in itself too, but New York's a whole different vibe, different energy. Did it ever intimidate you? Were you nervous?
I was just living life back then. When you're young and you really just going wherever the wind takes you, not really thinking about much. The only thing that scared me about New York is how fast people was walking. So I had to learn how to walk fast too. So I walk fast now. But New York, I mean, like, there's always gonna be mean people everywhere. So it really didn't intimidate me. But the thing is, when I was younger, it's, you know, your frontal lobe thing is not all the way formed. So I'm really just living life, you know, not really paying any mind or anything. I didn't really take into consideration that I was on Broadway at such a young age until I turned like 23. And then I was like, oh, I was doing some crazy things. So I really didn't take it in because I feel like I just didn't have the capacity to take it in. But no, New York isn't scary. It's just the people walk fast, and you just got to really adjust. I mean, if you let it be scary, it's scary. But you know, it wasn't scary. This is another state.
Well, tell me about your experience on Broadway. I feel like Broadway had to give you a crash course on dealing with critics and dealing with just that public view more than anything as an artist that you deal with currently. Is that correct?
Yeah. Okay, so currently I feel like, you know, with content creation, like you have to put your life out, you know, and I guess you have to show yourself in a way that you kind of wouldn't do when you're on Broadway. Like, I think that, I don't know what it is now. I don't know how it goes now. I've been out of the Broadway game for a very long time, but your image is your character, so to say. Mm-hmm. So, you know, unless you already have a following on your own page, people really only see you for the character that you are on Broadway at the time. Until, like, I mean, I have friends who have made a name for themselves, but like for me, like, people still call me Pearl, and and it's okay. But you know, I guess I hope I'm answering this right. Like, the public image at that time was, I don't even really remember. Like, I just know people was just calling me Pearl. I really don't remember. It was a very long time ago.
Do you feel like it was hard trying to separate the Broadway you versus the artist you? Like, how did you find self, like, in your artist self, in trying to separate them two? I
always knew that I was Jalen, but you know, that life is wild because people are like diehard Broadway fans, and it's like, you know, unless they come and see you outside the stage door and they're really just coming to see who the person was, you know, they're only seeing you for the actor or for the character that you portrayed, which is okay, because that's sometimes how they be doing it to like movie stars. You know, you only see, I mean, like, unless you really, really make a name for yourself outside of your character, people only see you for your character. And that's the conversations that I've had with people. And sometimes for myself, like, people still call me Pearl. But because I've done a good job at like transitioning from Broadway to music, you know, I'm not really necessarily like put in a box for Broadway anymore. But like, you know, there's still articles out there that talk about my experience on Broadway, and there's still articles that, you know, talk about me and being Pearl. But like, the majority of the time now, it's like I was able to separate the fact that I was a Broadway actress because I transitioned my career.
But it's funny to me, the fact that you were from a while, but I saw the picture and I was like, she was actually Pearl. I'm sorry, like, like, you know, it's kind of funny, and at the same time, it really prepared you to be someone to look up to, in a sense, not just for a person that's listening to you, but like a child. They're like, oh my gosh, it's Pearl. So you were an inspiration from the get-go, and now you are with your music still being an inspiration. That's kind of cool when you think about it like that.
By the grace of God, you know, it makes me happy that, okay, here's a good thing. I was watching Tiny Desk with my best friend Taryn, and I was watching Tiny Desk. I've watched Jasmine Sullivan's, I watched Ari Lennox, and I watched her, and I watched Duran Bernard. Yeah, I watched him, and the first person I watched was Ari Lennox, and you know, she's a mirror for girls who like wear their hair natural and like got, you know, oils in their hair, and they wake up with oils on their pillow, you know what I mean? And she was thicker at the time of her Tiny Desk, so it's like a huge mirror for oh my gosh, a huge mirror for women who are you know, natural. And so I saw myself in her, And I saw, I saw myself in her. I saw, I could do that basically. And for Jazmine Sullivan, she reminds me of, she is the mirror for women who like are liberated sexually now. Like I feel like late bloomers. Like she makes me feel as if, it's okay that you lost your virginity at 21, or it makes me okay that she gives me that and sort of like a liberation. So she's a mirror for those type of women. And her, I felt like in my opinion, she felt like, a mirror for girls who like had the upper hand in the relationship and, was able to actually speak for, women who I guess I don't know, like how I remember her song Feel Away, and I was like listening to the lyrics, and it was like, she's been working for a very long time. So I feel like in her relationships, like she's probably like had, I guess, situations where I guess like the men would be wanting a lot of her time, and she wasn't able to give her a lot of her time because she was working a lot. And I was thinking about the mirror that I am going to hopefully give for people, like knowing that I wrote Death of a Black Girl like right when I got off of Broadway, and thinking about like what I was going through back then. Again, I was still like, my frontal lobe didn't really connect until I was 25, but like writing, which I'm 25 now, but writing, Death of a Black Girl when I was just coming off of Broadway, just like thinking about like, not even really thinking that I might be speaking for women who like probably don't see themselves as beautiful. And for a time, I didn't see myself as a beautiful person. So it's like coming into that, like being able to write from those experiences into now where I actually do look at myself beautiful. I can go outside with the afro, you know what I mean? I can go outside and feel beautiful. Like I feel like, hopefully I'll be writing for, women who are going through the same experiences as I. And I think that's beautiful for me. And it's just a part of my healing. Thinking about it, I am healing myself through this music. And I've been healing myself since Death of a Black Girl. Going from Death of a Black Girl to Illustrations, all those songs, I also wrote on Broadway. Oh. I've been healing myself since, and I just hope that I can heal other people too. I feel like I want to be the mirror for the bubbly Black girl who you don't really know until you know her.
I think that's why I relate to you so much, because that describes my life so much. But let's go into Death of a Black Girl. It was moving. And it was touching, and it was quite emotional. What was it that said to you? You know what? Matter of fact, why specifically that title? And then what led you to write that piece?
Dang. I gotta really think. Death of a Black Girl. Okay. I remember being in a weird relationship with a guy that wants me bad now, but I was in like a crazy fling with this guy, and from like my 1 year of college going into Broadway. And I remember my grandfather being on a rehabilitation. He was at the rehabilitation center because he had got his knee worked on, and this guy drove to the rehabilitation center and picked me up, took me to McDonald's. I paid for our food, only to tell me that he was getting back with his ex. And ex was a very beautiful Latina woman, but his roster was nothing but, it wasn't no Black women on it. Like, cause our college, I went to Baldwin Wallace Conservatory for music for a year, and we were the minority, you know what I mean? But you still had Black women at that college. And me and him, we lived like 15 minutes away from each other back in Georgia. So, I just wasn't his type. It really wasn't much of like, oh, I can't find a Black woman. I just wasn't his type. But we tried it, we became good friends or whatever. And he pulled up at the rehabilitation center, took me to McDonald's, and told me that he wanted to get back with his ex. And after that, I still kind of like, he got back with his ex for a little bit, and then I let him go because, you know, the way you get them is the way you lose them. And then he came back around. And this is the second time he came back around, because he comes back around 3 times. Second time he came back around, everybody was telling me like, oh, he got with this girl in music theater, like he's with this girl in music theater, blah 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 blah. He got with a girl. Who dang, she was also in music theater, but she was like the friends that I got when I was in high school, not high school, in college. The friends that I was with, she was grabbing them friends too. It was almost as if she got the man. She was taking my friends, and she was like in music theater basically.
I was trying to be you.
I was just, you know, I didn't want to say it, you know. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. He just got somebody who was similar to me. And I was like, well, you could have had me. Like we accumulated some years. You know what I mean? So after that, we stopped talking for a very long time, and I wrote "Death of a Black Girl" because I felt as if I just felt unwanted because of who I was at core, and I felt like the only way I would be loved the only way I would be loved by him was if I was not me. You know what I mean? So I wrote "Death of a Black Girl" because it's like death to the person that he don't want. And it turned into a very beautiful statement, because, you know, I can't really change who I am for somebody. I cannot change my skin tone. I cannot change the texture of my hair. I cannot close my teeth together. You know, not that I can't, but I don't want to close my teeth together. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do
Amen.
things. You know what I mean? I can't do these things to try to get somebody to love me. And those lyrics basically state, like, I'm not, I'm not apologizing for who I am, but I cannot change who I am for you. So yeah, that is "Death of a Black Girl." It was written by a boy who I'm talking about. He on me bad now. He wants me. He wants me too bad. But we good friends. We friendly.
Hey, what's up? That's it.
Yeah.
No, but I get it. I think that and I definitely received that song in that same aspect, because I've had that same issue. You know, you have somebody that in your situation, y'all were dating, but I had someone that I liked, a guy that I liked, and we got along well. We liked the same things, all that great things, but he went for another girl that was another ethnicity. However, everything was the same. Everything was the same. And I was just like, oh, you just didn't like this. Got it. Because his report card was nothing but girls that, of course, that were not black. And so it made me feel like something must be right. Something must be wrong with me. Something must be wrong with my skin. Something must be wrong but nothing's wrong with me. I love myself. And I think that being a Black woman, it comes with a lot of different moments where you're doubting yourself. You're trying to find the love within yourself, okay with your hips, your lips, and whatever else you got in it. It just comes with so much different standards that you got to go through, or chapters you got to go through of self-affirmation and self-acceptance. And it's so hard to go through it.
It's so hard. It's like every twist and turn, I'm finding something different about myself. Every day it's like, oh, this is why God, you know, didn't want me to do this, because I wasn't ready yet to do this. You know what I mean? And even though being a Black woman is a movie within itself, it's like I wouldn't have it any other way, because I feel like my life ain't boring. You know, I'm Black and I'm a woman. My life is not boring, you know? And of course I will want to, you know, I would want an easy love life. Of course, you watch other people's, you know, movies. I guess I'm putting it in that analogy.
Yeah.
But you watch, you know, other people's lives, and you're like, dang, they got into that relationship real easy. Why is it that I have to wait and jump through hoops and go through trials and tribulations just for you to vet me out and then love me at the end? And then now I'm not gonna want you. You know what I mean? After all that, after all is said and done, my body is just not gonna want to do that after I done went through it, you know, sadly. But it's just like, I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't want to be any other race, because, you know, I wouldn't be me. And I think I'm happy. I'm happy, you know, and I just want other Black women to be happy too. And it's like, yes, we're going through all these things. You know what's another crazy thing? I have the utmost respect for single women. My mother's a single woman, and she raised me by herself. Well, she raised me with my grandparents, and my father, you know, did what he needed to do. He came along at some point, but you know, I love him. I love that road dog. But you know, my mom did the majority of the work, and I she's a Virgo, and I love me some Virgos, and she taught me how to love myself. My mom is like, I think, one of the only dark-skinned women in her sibling, in the line of her siblings. My grandma's a little bit light-skinned, just a little bit, you know, just a little bit, you know, different hair texture or whatever. But oh my God, you know, she's dark-skinned. Her father was dark-skinned. My grandfather, who passed away before she was born, was dark-skinned, and I inherited that. And she taught me how to love that. And I take that, you know, it took me a while. It took me a while to love it. But now that I'm 25, I love it so much. And I'm learning to love it even more. It's crazy that we're talking about this. I did not like the girl that was on Broadway. I did not like her. I was doing so many things to shield her and to change her. I have eating disorders now because I was doing so much to change who she was. And now it's like, now at 25, I'm looking at her and looking at these old videos, and I'm like, dang, she was singing her butt off. And why was I trying my hardest to hate her? Why was I doing that? And now it's like I'm falling back in love with her and who I am now. So I think the music that I'm creating and the stories that I'm telling, Death of a Black Girl, was only the iceberg, was only the start of me trying to, I'm gonna cry, was only the start of me trying to write a story for women who are, Death of a Black Girl was the start of me trying to write a story for women who are just now realizing that, you know, who they were and who they were trying to hide. Girl, I did real good on my makeup. Was only trying to, damn it. That was the start of the story that, you know, that I'm writing for women who are just now realizing that they are beautiful. Thank you. Who are just now realizing that they are beautiful in the skin that they are in. That's
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I already told you this wig is sliding off, girl. I'll take this whole wig off and we'll cry together. Don't play with me. Don't do it, girl. We will sit here and cry together. I'll have my cornrows out. We'll get real ugly up this camp. Don't play with me.
I'll show my ass.
I can't what I do.
Oh, woo.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. Woo.
We're good. But that's that's the beautiful part about healing and about going through moments where you're like understanding self, and you're writing about the particular moment of your life that you're in, because you're like, once you're out of it, once you're that chapter is closed for you, you're able to look back and be like, I went through that and I came out through the storm victorious and beautiful. And that story is going to be a narrative for someone else to go through and be like, we can make it out. You're gonna be all right. And that's what's so amazing about your music. It's healing. Your music is simply healing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Of course.
You can't look back and be like, yeah, I'll take that compliment. It'd be hard to take compliments, but I'm a stand in that, and I'm very thankful that you said that.
It is. Look, let me tell you, compliments is another chapter of being a Black woman we are still trying to understand, okay? Indeed. That's a whole another chapter that is hard to get through. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a moment from the tears, because we trying to, I'm trying to get myself together. You trying to get yourself together. Let's go into you said Ari Lennox. We were talking about Ari Lennox a little bit. How did you go into writing Pressure? Such an interesting situation.
Such an interesting situation. So basically, she called me late at night. I'm so thankful I was not at my house. I probably would. I probably not. I mean, but it's Ari. I mean, I live far, but that's neither here nor there. So she called me real late. It was me and my girl, and we were already at the studio. And she said jump. We said how high. We got into that car. We sped off to Jermaine Dupri's studio. We get there, and I call her again. I'm like, I'm outside. They walk us in. We sit down. They got the Jermaine Dupri on the turn. He on the turntables, like he already making the beat or whatever. And Brian Michael Cox on the piano. He just, and she's sitting there. And she already heard Pressure. She already had it in the notes. And so I was like, she had a couple things. I was like, that's all I need. I grabbed my computer. I started ding, 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 ding. And we wrote that song in I want to say less than an hour, 30 minutes probably. And I recorded the demo. And then I guess 2 days later, I had her version, and it ate.
Yeah, it's a hot song.
Thank you. It was very quick the way it happened. When God does things, that are seamless. It's like, I don't know how you did that, but it's supposed to happen. It was so seamless. When as a writer, sometimes you go into sessions and it's like you think that you want to go out with a bang, and you want to finish the song within 30 minutes, or 30 seconds even. I mean, that's not possible. But you want to get in and you want to get out. You want to do your job and you want to go home. And sometimes it's hard. It's like you working together. You're, this is when I was signed just solely as a writer. You want them to want to, use you again. So it's like you want to get they song out with the quickness, and you want them to like it too. And sometimes, you got little hiccups. You got to wait a couple minutes for a word to just, click on like a light bulb. But that session, I'm talking about, I had no hiccups. I wasn't sitting there for a couple minutes I literally was just typing. It was spewing out. So everything happens for a reason, and it happened the way it was supposed to happen. It was so seamless.
Mm-hmm. But do you feel like, seeing the success of Pressure and how amazing that song is, do you wish you kind of kept it for yourself, or was that specifically just for her?
That was her song. That was not my song. That was her song. Yeah, that was her song. They were already, I wouldn't have been able to keep it no way. When I walked in that session, it was specifically her session, It was Jermaine Dupri on them turntables, Brian Michael Cox on the piano. It was Ari Lennox's session. She just so happened to call me up to help her write. So that is her song. And no, I wouldn't want to keep that for myself, because God wouldn't have happened that way. And I'm happy that it happened with Ari, because I'm still a baby artist in the eyes of some. So it's not gonna do as much as her. She has a reach. I was not signed to a label at this time, so it's like, she got
Oh, yeah.
might as well just
Go ahead.
help me out. You know what I mean? Give me a leg up. You know, because her getting her notoriety and her recognition, I got my credits. So people are looking at who wrote the song and who was in the room. You know what I mean? That's all I needed at that moment. Because I know for mine is in due time. It's coming. It's supposed to come whenever it's supposed to happen. So, that's her song.
Hey, I mean, look, and it's your time is in my mind. It's here. It's always here. And like you said, God orders your footsteps, of course. And I'm not going to do this, crying session with you again, because I feel like you're going to have me doing tithes and offering. And we ain't trying. Listen, woman, we're not going to sit here for this phone about 15 hours. We're not going to do this today. But
cry for the majority.
Just crying.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
But like God, he orders your footsteps, and when it's for you, specifically for you, and regardless of what happens, nothing can take it away. Nothing can take it away.
Nothing.
So I swear, in your music, it's wonderful. Like I started off the interview with Sugar Honey Iced Tea, because that's what you call yourself. You are Sugar Honey Iced Tea me. And I love the fact that you're so confident in self, and it took a journey to get there, and now here we are, Southern Delicacy, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
to
we are.
Illustrations, to conversations. I mean, it's a story. So you said that you have more healing music. Tell me where we are right now. What is the mindset? What are we coming out with?
Okay, I am 25, and this music is basically the snowball effect of what happened in 2022 for me. And what happened in 2022 was my grandfather passed away. And I think that was the start of my frontal lobe cortex coming together. It was like, oh, life is real. Things are happening. I remember my grandfather was the first man I've ever loved. And my grandfather taught me so many things. And so he was the glue for my family. He was the glue. And I could feel, I literally, like, when I saw the casket, I remember going to the wake. Just the feeling of like the seams just pulling at, I metaphorically felt as if a wound opened up where my heart was supposed to be. And ever since then, there was a relationship that I was also in. The day that my grandfather passed away, he was in the car. And that's when my first trauma bond started. I was clinging on to this man because he was there when my grandfather passed away. And he was all he was not a crutch, but, it was a very tumultuous relationship. And I felt like I was because that wound was open, I felt like I was just reaching in and giving my heart to him and constantly doing it and repeatedly doing it in hopes that he would take it and love it and cherish it. And it just never happened that way. And I felt like I was doing that within friendships, and I felt like I was doing that within my love life, and I felt like I was doing that, just grabbing my heart and taking it out. And each time I would reach in and grab my heart, I felt like the wound would just open, which I felt like that resulted in me, like, not being the best at saving money, not being the best at, communicating, like depression, like my mind, like self-hatred, just like feeling as if I was not enough to be loved. And this next batch of music is my love letter to that little girl that I was talking about that I did not like. Because if she was healed, yes, I would have cried and grieved for my grandfather, and yes, those natural things would have happened. But I think that because if that little girl was healed, I probably wouldn't have did the crazy things or stayed in the crazy situations that I did stay in in the name of love. You know what I mean? I would have loved myself more and gave myself more grace in situations and knew when to leave situations, because I just would have loved myself like that. You know, if I loved myself like that, I would have been okay with leaving situations, because I know that I got me at the end of the day. But I did not have that mindset. So this next batch of music is my love letter to her, my apology to her. You know, it's my apology to what I did while I was grieving. It's my acceptance to what I did while I was grieving. And and at the end of the day, because I loved my grandfather and because I knew love at one point, regardless if I find love or regardless if a man comes in and swoops me off my feet, at least I know I have loved at the end of the day. And that is what this new about, knowing that regardless of whoever comes in my life and whoever sits down at my table and whoever is on the next part of my timeline, I already loved. I already have experienced love. So I love myself enough to welcome somebody in, and regardless, and to know that if they do me wrong this next time, or whether they do me right, I'm able to remove myself because I already have love. I don't need their love to sustain.
Or to validate. Because I already have my own. And that is what this next batch of music. It's hard not to just say the name of it, but it is. I don't want to say the name of it just yet, but it is. You know, this next batch of music is, you know, is a healed version of the girl who wrote "Death of a Black Girl." And why can't we say the name of it? Why can't we say the project release date? I'm just saying.
You know, the artist surprise. But I did say, I gave hints and stuff. It got something to do with the heart.
Okay, the heart. You did give a lot of hints of the heart, so I'll take it. But you know, it's funny because, you know, I told you I had a really good time researching you, right? It's when I researched you, I could find a lot of comparisons between your story and mine. And then when I hear you, I see and I hear a lot more comparisons. And it's hard for me as an interviewer. You know, it's for me, my job is to ask the questions and to do the job, get it done, and that's this and the other. But it's so hard to not want to cry with you, not wanting to celebrate with you. So I thank you for allowing, like I told you before, for allowing yourself to be a genuine individual, not just an artist, but like, y'all, this is literally her. You know, if you listen to her music, that's her. There is no facade. There is no, well, this is Jalen on Monday and then Jalen on Tuesday. No, it is literally all of her. And I appreciate that. And I also appreciate, like I said before, you being a real singer. You're bringing back that real tone, real essence. And we're missing that. I think that we're now on this new wave where we're back to appreciating the vocal tones of an artist and respecting their craft. Yeah. So I really do think that it's been your time, but you know, this is your time. This is your season. And I hope that you're celebrating it and in the forefront versus waiting for it to come out once all the music is out.
Yeah. I'm celebrating it. Me and my girl, we go get us some French 75s, and you know, she go get a hoop. I might do some debauchery. You know, I might do a little, you know what I mean? And we celebrate. Literally, like a couple days ago, one of the first session or something like that. I'm talking about one of the best sessions that I've had in a while. And, you know, it's all of the sessions that they've had me in for my album have been so beautiful. So it's like we're celebrating when we can. I think after this interview, we're gonna go celebrate too. You know, I got on a nice outfit. It's sunny LA, you know, we kind of matching, me and my girl. So it's like, we gonna go celebrate. You know, hopefully when we go down to Nashville, we can celebrate with you too.
Oh, when you come to Nashville, if I don't get a phone call, a text, an email, a bird in the sky, if I don't get a blimp, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I do not get somebody spray painting on the floor, on the ground, Ebony, she is here, I'm going to be offended. I think that's like a slap in the face. I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, she really don't care for me. What happened? We connected.
We cried. We
cried together. I almost took my wig off for you. Oh my gosh. That's how you know it's real. But you know, I again, you know, I got to give you so much flowers and thankfulness to you. Who else do you want to work with? I mean, you worked with Ari Lennox, and if I'm correct, I also had in my notes that you worked with Sir. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I was his writer.
Working. So who else would you like to work with?
It was a session. But let's see, who would I like to work with? I would love to work with Victoria Monet.
Ooh.
And you know, I just want to put out there, you know, for manifestation, Beyonce. Just for just to manifest. I say I want to work with Aaron Allen Kane. Mm-hmm. I want to work with Renee Rapp. I like her. Love her. Who else? So many beautiful voices. I can't think right now. Oh, Leon Thomas. You like Leon Thomas?
Yeah, of course. Leon Thomas. First of all, he's fun, but yes, I love his music.
He's nice looking.
Very nice looking man.
Yeah. You know, that's a man by the name of Tone Stith. You know Tone Stith?
I actually interviewed him. He was in Nashville last year, and we did a sit down together. He is fantastic as a person and as a writer and everything. We talked about his journey and stuff. So, yeah, he will great collab. That would be awesome.
That man's voice is beautiful. You know, I don't want to say anything too prematurely, but that man is. I feel like he's like on the verge of being like the next king of pop.
Strong words.
Very strong words, but I've listened to his music and I'm talking about some of the best things I've ever heard. So the inflections, like pauses that he has, that's a very musical man. It's very musicality. It reminds me of like Michael Jackson in a way. It's very like, it's real good. It's real nice.
So Tone, he said that his influence was like Chris Brown, and you know Chris Brown influence was Michael Jackson. So I can see how you said that. But you know who I would love to see you work with? Tank from Tank and the Bangers.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I would die. I think that if I saw that collab if I saw a single with y'all two, I'd be like, and this is it. That was life. I'm good to go. Bye. Like,
hey, I love them. They rock something serious. A band. Do you listen to Infinity Song?
Infinity
Song, the band?
No, I have not. Put me on.
I think they're signed to Rock Nation, but they have like nice. I think their influences definitely gotta be Stevie Nicks or Fleetwood Mac, because they have a cover of it's either Rihanna and I forget. They have a cover of a Fleetwood Mac song on their latest EP or album. But they're really good too. It's all black band and they're signed to Rock Nation. Yeah.
I'm gonna look them up. I swear, like doing this whole deep down into a lot of music, the newness of it all. It's amazing to see that there are just unique artists out there, whether they're R&B or not, and to see that music is an evolution. It's ever changing, ever being that continues growing. And when you see other people use their craft, their passion to showcase their story, their narrative, or their take of music. It's like, dang, music is universal, it's powerful, and it's a little exciting to see what happens next within that genre or within that person, because you know it's only going to get better, such as yourself.
Yes. Yeah, it's only gonna get better. I think God has always already ordained my steps along with others, so I just gotta be patient, because I'm not a patient girl. I want the things to happen now. You know what I mean? I'm not a patient girl at all. That is not a trait of mine. But God is definitely teaching me patience. You know, I was talking to my manager, best friend Taryn, like a couple days ago, and you know, an opportunity was right there, in arm's length. I'm talking about, it was right there. And I love to perform. Like, performing is my thing. So it was a performance opportunity, and it was right there, and it didn't work out. And I'm just like sitting back, and like, dang, like, how many no's are we gonna get until we get a yes? And then I had to think about it, like, you know, I need to take the time to be where I am right now and make this music and be okay with where I am right now, because there's going to come a time where I'm going to be too busy to think. And there's going to come a time where I am just exhausted and looking for a break. And so right now, while I have the opportunity to make this music and you know, still develop myself as an artist, you know, as a woman, and still develop what I'm going to be presenting to people, I'm gonna take that time to do it, you know, so that when I get there, I'm sure, I'm not afraid. When I get there, this, you know, anxiety don't be in my face, and you know. So yeah, I just, whenever it happens, it's supposed to happen. And, you know, steps are always already going to be, you know, they're already walked, you know what I mean? It's already been traveled. And
it's already done.
It's already done. I just have to be patient. And, you know, I'm okay with that, because I can get myself together while I'm waiting.
And you see, I'm one, like I said, we mirror each other, and I love it so much. I have zero patience. But one thing I have told myself is that a no is sometimes not a no. It can be just not right now. And also, before you embark on something new, you have to make sure that past thing that you was just in is completely closed shut. I mean, no cracks, no holes, no peekaboos. Like, you know, when they say leave it at the altar, you leave it there. You don't open the bag back up and say, let me make sure I got everything. I just want to make sure, God, you can handle this way. I just want to make sure that you got, so you know you know who she is. You know, that's who. You don't do that. You don't do that. You give it to God. You believe in the process. You trust the journey, and you also have faith in what's next. Because if you lose sight of that faith, if you lose sight of what's ahead, I promise you, your steps will start to stumble, and you'll get confused, and you get right back to where you were before. Yeah. So keep pushing on, keep pressing forward. And as someone that is a complete fan, and probably in your bushes the next 2 seconds, just look outside. I'm right there, love. I'm just gonna do this with my wig in the air. I pray that you keep pushing and pursuing and move forward, because I promise you, your time is here, your time is now, and they're seeing, they're watching, they're looking, and they are in awe. They are in awe of what they see.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means a lot. I'm happy that I got to speak to you today. I don't know. Maybe I feel like I needed a good cry. I needed this conversation so much. And I needed this conversation. So thank you so much. I
thank you for your openness. It's always fun to to learn a little bit more about the artist and, you know, hear their stories and the behind the scenes type of stuff when it comes to their music, but to unveil the individual and to realize that, like I said before, it's just a mirror of their music and who they really are. It's even more enticing as an interviewer and as a fan. So I thank you for your genuine talk, your genuine speech. I know that we're super excited for more music coming out. Can you just tell my listeners how they can connect with you, get more from you? How can they make that happen?
Yeah, so if they just type in my name is Jalen Josie, JAI_LEN JOSEY. On any social media platform, any music streaming platform, they can see all the music that we talked about today. Besides the new music that's coming out.
Of course. You know, it's weird. I normally in my interviews I can be so quick and just be like, all right guys, thank you so much, but I honestly don't even feel like I had an interview. I feel like I just sat down and talked to my best friend. So y'all catch this fireside chat with my best friend. We're gonna do round 2 later on at some point. I can't please. like I said, when you come to Nashville, stop by 92Q, come see me, come say hey, let's do a sit down, another conversation. And I just thank you again for today. Y'all check her out. It's Jalen Josie, the one and only, the sugar honey iced tea from ATL all the way to all your places. It's right here on R&B Vibes with Ebony. Thank you.